79-pound Mounjaro weight loss journey and the impact on my daily life. Hi friends, I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. This is my co-host, Mr. Freddy, and we're going to talk today about the impact on my daily life of taking Mounjaro. And hopefully, from my experience, strength and hope, not medical advice, because this is never medical advice, it will hopefully help you if you're deciding to take Mounjaro for weight loss, zepbound weight loss, tirzepatide weight loss, or if maybe you're on WEGOVY journey. This is hopefully all-encompassing. Always talk to your own healthcare provider. Let's dive into tip number one. We'll see if my co-host, Mr. Freddy, will stay involved with us as we go through. But the biggest thing was the change in my weight, obviously. Number one, I've lost 79 pounds. I've been taking Mounjaro 15 milligrams for the last I'm on Mounjaro 15 milligrams. I've been taking Mounjaro for the last year. And so now I'm at the highest dose possible. There is nowhere else to titrate up to. This is where this train ends. Choo-choo. And so I've learned so much over the last year. The impact on my daily life of this weight loss journey, as you can imagine, is quite profound. I am physically and literally a different person than I was before when I started Mounjaro over a year ago. And one of those things is the change in my weight is physically being able to do more. Now, I know that seems like common sense, but I don't know if other people can relate out there, but I just didn't think, before I started Mounjaro, I didn't think I was actually going to really be able to lose the 100 pounds that I'm on a 125 pound weight loss journey. I don't realistically think I could get past like 20 pound weight loss. I had the mindset of I'm stuck. This is never going to change, using superlatives like these false beliefs. And so when the weight did start coming off, my first week, if you look at my Mounjaro playlist down below, you can see I lost 11 pounds in 1 week. That is not normal. Don't do that. I have done subsequent videos of lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. That is what my healthcare provider has shared with me, and obviously talk to your own. And we're going to talk about healthcare provider here in a minute. But the change in my weight, I've been able to physically do more. I'm physically wearing different clothes. It's been quite profound. And more so, I'm a different person physically and emotionally, spiritually, financially, like all of the things, right? Relationships as being a wife and a mom, those relationships have obviously changed. And so the change in weight, that's obviously the biggest thing. I can fit in airline seats without having to get like in a bigger class to buckle my safety belt. Things like that, of where I fit into things differently. And I think that my brain is still catching up to, of like, oh, I've dropped 5 pant sizes. Like, that's crazy to me. I didn't think that was going to happen. I am a thick milkshake, and I still am a thick milkshake. But as I go down this weight loss journey, it's breaking the false narratives and false beliefs, which we're going to talk about in the next. We're going to talk about here in the next couple ones. Make sure you stay to number 6. It's probably one of my favorite. Number 2, gastrointestinal things affect my daily life. And so we know that Mounjaro side effects are Eli Lilly, the manufacturer of Mounjaro, and zepbound for zepbound weight loss and Mounjaro weight loss. And if you're taking the compound tirzepatide, we know that gastrointestinal side effects are common. Those are the most common side effects, are gastrointestinal. Now, there's obviously serious side effects. You're going to want to talk to your own healthcare provider about those, but things like appendicitis, pancreatitis. There is a type of thyroid cancer. It's a genetic family link cancer, but there's other serious ones. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about day-to-day, daily impact, gastrointestinal, of vomiting, which I've never had, but that is one of them. Nausea, I've had. Diarrhea, I've had. Constipation, I've had. Constipation, one of my favorite things is obviously going for a walk, taking your water, making sure you're having 2 cups of leafy green vegetables, or fiber has been really on my radar. But I do love Bellway. I'll link those down below. For constipation with a psyllium husk, they do have drinks too, which are also great. Nausea, making my ginger water. If you haven't seen that, what I eat in a day, make sure you click subscribe and like. It has in that playlist, my Mounjaro weight loss playlist, it has in there how you make my ginger water recipe, which is awesome. And for constipation, diarrhea, and the nausea is really where I'm at right now. With Mounjaro 15 milligrams, that yesterday it was loud and proud of nausea with my Mounjaro. I'd taken my shot. Now it's 48 hours ago. I'm still somewhat nauseous, and nausea for me feels like a brick in my stomach. I don't know. It's the weirdest feeling. I hadn't felt that, and I've been on Mounjaro for a year. I hadn't felt this type of feeling. And so my family was eating a bunch of foods, and I couldn't eat them. And as a foodie, it pains me. It pains me. And so these gastrointestinal things, planning is really, really important. Do you see what he's doing with his hand right now? This guy right here, he's like, more treats, mom. I will link these down below, by the way. They have bees on them. They're called bochies. I bought them. I'm not sponsored by them. He's obsessed with them. He likes that they're for Valentine's Day, strawberry, blueberry, and vanilla recipe. They have other like non-Valentine's Day ones. I thought those were cute. So the gastrointestinal things, right? If you're on a hot date with your partner and you're like, ooh, the diarrhea, cha-cha-cha is here. Like, just that does impact your daily life. Or I'm on camera, or I'm an executive producer behind camera. People pay me a lot of money to be an executive producer, show up, help them with videos, and be behind the scenes. I cannot sit there with nausea. And so I had a shoot for one of my clients last weekend of where I was on set all day with them. I was the executive producer, helping to direct everything. And I pushed my shot back a day. Because my stomach, I knew I couldn't handle having nausea with this really, really important client. I needed to be on my A game. I knew that if I pushed my shot back 24 hours, it was okay. And so the impact on my daily life requires more planning and the reverse engineering of that. My kid has his championship soccer game was earlier, I don't know, like 4 months ago or 5 months ago. I wanted to be on the ball as a mom. That is my most important title in addition to being a wife to my hot husband, the Count. So being a wife and a mom are my most important titles. I love my businesses and I love running them, but those are my family is my most important thing. And so for my son, I pushed my shot back one day because I knew I wanted to be on later to the evening as opposed to the time I was in the afternoon when I was taking it. I now take my shots in the morning. If you haven't seen why, check out the other videos in the playlist, but that has been key for me switching to morning shot injection time to help cause and welcome gastrointestinal issues. But if you are just starting your Mounjaro journey, you may not want to do that. For me, the best time for my daily life was taking it around 2 or 3 p.m. to help ride through those side effects. Everyone is different, and I want to encourage you to track, and that's going to help that. Tip number 3 is getting on a cycle to get my prescription. Today's video is sponsored by Join Fridays. I am obsessed with the telehealth company. They are a startup company, but I've worked with them from the very beginning. Why? Because they care about GLP-1 patients, and it is evident in the manner in which I've been treated. I started taking Mounjaro. I got my prescription through my primary health care doctor, and I quickly realized they were not specialists. They're specialists in the flu and sniffles and colds and things like that, but they are not specialists in obesity care management and diabetes type 2 medications. They're just not. And so I love them as my primary health care doctor. I love them so much. They helped to get me on my Mounjaro journey, but I quickly learned that telehealth medicine was for me. I have tested out because I want to share and give my honest opinion. I have paid and continue to pay for my Join Fridays membership because I love them so much, because they've treated me with grace, dignity, and respect, and with science. I want people who are on the ball with science, with obesity care management, and with type 2 diabetes, that they are on the pulse. And the founders of Join Fridays are so incredible. Like, it makes me literally, when I first talked to the co-owner, having the first couple of conversations, because I don't make recommendations, you guys know, your trust in me matters so much. I care so much if I'm recommending something to you that I really absolutely love it. And the first comment, I literally cried on the phone. I'm like, I am so sorry I'm crying in front of you. But the fact that you care so much about me, and I know about the Countess of Shopping community with Counts and Countesses, about our health, about type 2 diabetics, about obesity care management, about making sure that we're getting the best of the best. And also, if things aren't the best of the best, this is the other thing with a startup, they care to fix it. They go in and fix it if something, and other Counts and Countesses will say, hey, and they've immediately gone in and fixed it. But I love Join Fridays because they prescribe both name brand, meaning Mounjaro, WEGOVY, zepbound, and compounds, semaglutide and tirzepatide. They prescribe both. They work with compound pharmacies, very high quality. One of my dear friends just messaged me. And again, I take this responsibility so seriously. If I'm recommending you something, I want to make sure you're super happy. So I always ask for feedback. One of my dear friends who's been on and been with Join Fridays, she's lost 32 pounds. She messaged me. She's like, babe, I started, I was like, when did you start? It was in the fall. She lost 32 pounds with the compound. So, and compounds are because of FDA shortages going on with Mounjaro, WEGOVY, all of those. So they have both. I get my prescription sent to a local pharmacy and then I just pick it up locally, but there's a couple of different ways you can work their telehealth. With the compounds, it's obviously shipped to you. So do keep in mind with compounds, with shipping with that, obviously you're going to want to plan. It's not going to be like an overnight thing to get your medication shipped to you. You're going to want to be planning. And that's one of my big things for my life with my daily impact is having that planning, using my Google Calendar to get alerts of like, hey, I need to check in with Join Fridays about getting my prescription. For the way it works for me and what I want to encourage for you, I can refill my Mounjaro prescription every 23 days. Learn when you're getting your medication refilled, how frequently you need to do that for you. I desperately want to get on mail order. That's one of my big goals for this year is getting on mail order to have my Mounjaro pens shipped directly to my house. So I'm not schlepping out, but hopefully that will be coming in the next year. But there's so much that goes into this. Right, Mr. Freddy? That's right. He's very riveted. He's on the edge of his seat. So down below, Join Fridays has been very generous with the Countess of Shopping community. There's a code down below that will get you an extra discount with your membership. And then you can go ahead and get scheduled. It's all online, which is awesome. They do video chats. So you literally see your provider on a camera, which I also loved, having that personal connection so they can know me. I can ask questions. I frequently come to my meetings with my healthcare provider with questions already written out. So I can be on the pulse to ask them questions, and they've been very, very helpful. Okay, let's go to tip number 4. Obviously, the change in my daily impact for my life has been food changes. Like what I used to eat and order a year ago is not what I eat and order now. My food has changed. When I go out to eat, our grocery shopping bill, our grocery shopping budget, our eating out budget, is significantly different. My main focus is protein. I do 100 to 120 grams of protein per day. I have worked with a dietitian to help for my body to come up with that. And that has been amazing to make sure that I'm getting that protein in because of muscle loss and staying satiated and staying full. And so with any weight loss program, not just with Mounjaro or zepbound or WEGOVY or whatever you're on, I'm not with those. There's muscle loss. And so I use a muscle loss scale. I'll link that in the description link below as well, as is all the information I'm talking about today. But having that protein, the food has changed. I still eat low carb. If you guys have followed me from the Countess of Low Carb days, now I'm the Countess of Shopping, but from the Countess of Low Carb days, I still love low carb foods that work really, really well for my body. Is he giving me the froggy? He sure is. Let me see if I can get him to come back around. So changing my food, I have more high quality foods. I just have less portions of them. So in a sense, our food bill has gone down, but also it's gone up because I've been ordering more food. You'll see in an upcoming What I Eat in a Day video, my son, the Duke, and I made sushi together. And I wanted to get crab to put in there. And I was like, buy the good quality crab to my husband. When the count went out to go pick up the food, I'm like, get the good crab, don't get the because I'm eating significantly less. And if my portions are much smaller, I want to have good stuff. So in some ways, our grocery bill has gone down. In some ways, our grocery bill has gone up. With that protein, I've shared about this in several videos. I have switched to a certain kind of protein powder that I take. It's made for semaglutide and tirzepatide folks because of the added digestion help that it has. And I'll link that down below for you. It has 6 ounces. You get 20 grams of protein for under 150 calories. I'm obsessed. So I can chug that 6 ounces. I was in a sorority. I can chug things. So I just chug that. And I usually have that around the afternoon. And I know baseline, I've got 20 grams of protein in. And it's been very helpful with the digestion issues too, because it's made intentionally for semaglutide and tirzepatide folks. Focusing in on protein, the change on my daily life that's what I'm keeping track of. Some of you guys know about my ED history and having a disordered way of eating and healing a significant amount of therapy. And I've done a lot to heal that disorder, a lot of healing. I used to be terrified to weigh myself, and now I've broken that bondage that had come with being, and like now I can do that, and that's okay. I don't have triggers. I used to though. But so changing the relationship with food on my daily impact now of being okay with tracking. I'll count in my head the protein grams, but I'm not like hardcore tracking. I do use Weight Watchers sometimes. I recommend different eating plans to you guys because I like different things and I get bored sometimes and I don't want to be bored. So I do like Weight Watchers new, I know, right? Their new eating tracker is protein focused too. So that's been very, very helpful. Okay, let's go over to number 5. Obviously, making permanent lifestyle changes is so important. Making those permanent lifestyle changes is so important. Eli Lilly tells us, the manufacturer of Mounjaro and Zepbound, we have to make permanent lifestyle changes in their literature with food and with physical activity. And so having a caloric deficit decrease, and then also with physical activity, I'm walking this bad boy 1 to 3 miles every day. We have got to walk 3 miles today. I haven't walked him yet, and he's mad. And I didn't walk him yesterday. I know, you guys know I'm like obsessed with walking the dog now. Like that is not me. To become obsessed with physical activity, finding something I love, and I want to encourage you, and I'll use my I statements because this is not medical advice, simply my experience, strength, and hope. Finding what works for you that you love to make it a permanent lifestyle change. What do you love? Is it swimming? Do you have access to a swimming pool? Do you need to find access to a swimming pool? Is it bike riding? Like, what is it you love that you can do every day, day in, day out, and not find drudgery or not hate it? Because I see a lot of people's comments are like, I hate that. And I'm like, I know, boo. So finding what you like, you may need to taste a bunch of different physical activities to find what it is. Maybe you need to be with your partner more. Your partner's going to love me. They're like, the Countess told me to. No, I'm just kidding. But finding what you love in terms of physical activity that makes you like super excited to go do it every day. And so it's not drudgery. Me walking the dog is not drudgery. I didn't do it yesterday. I was crazy busy. Work has been banana balls. And so today I'm like, I'm walking 3 miles. I'm going to try for 4. But I don't want to do these like recoil and make ups with. I just want to make it not just, that's a diminishing word. I want to make it a daily thing of where it's not a conscious thing, where it becomes on autopilot. Because friends, when things come on autopilot, it's so much easier. When it's part of the daily routine and it's not this like, oh, I have to think about it. I'm still, to be brutally blunt and authentic, still have to think about it. Like, you gotta walk, Elizabeth. Have you walked? Like, I'm still tasting of how this incorporates, and it's been months of me doing this. And you guys have seen, we foster dogs. We fostered 130-pound Great Dane, a 90-pound Great Pyrenees. And so I have been with the animal puppies. Last year, we did a lot of fostering. And so this year, I'm not going to be fostering as much because some of my work demands have increased, but Mr. Freddy is getting more of my attention too. But working with animal rescues, stay tuned if you love animals. I'm going to be an animal ambassador for an upcoming project here in April. So stay tuned. We're going to talk more about that later. Okay. Tip number 6 for what impacts my daily life. I told you to stay to this point. I still have more after this, but this is the big one, is people treat me differently. But it's not what you think. People treat me differently. We've talked about this before, and I've said it in other videos. I'm going to stretch my legs out. I've said this in other videos, and an amazing Countess wrote a comment, which, by the way, I may not respond to all your comments, but I will see all your comments. An amazing Countess wrote, Elizabeth, have you ever thought, and she was so gracious and kind about the way she put her comment, have you ever thought that people don't treat you differently because of your weight loss, that you treat them differently and the vibe you are giving out is different? I said, whew, I felt like I was running, like, I felt like the wind just, whew, it just blew me over. I'm like, I never thought of it that way. That people do treat me differently. People hold doors for me. People used to slam doors in my face. I'm not like as cute. Wasn't as being this, 79 pounds. I physically look differently. My face looks differently. I have been working, but many of you guys have asked, my face for my lasers and my Botox. I don't gatekeep. It's Blossom Medical in Virginia. I highly recommend them. They are the best. I have tested so many different ones. They know their stuff. It's science-based. I highly recommend. Dr. Neiman is brilliant. She's so smart. She's a board certified anesthesiologist, and she knows women's faces and men. They do men too, but anyways, I digress. But if you're near Virginia, go there. Blossom Medical is awesome. Okay, so going back to people treating me differently, they do. People treat me much more nicely. People don't really slam doors in my face anymore. People are much more warm and welcoming, inviting. But the viewer who left the comment saying, have you thought about it's your energy that has changed, your perspective of that? it really has given me pause. And that person, I think, said that like 6 months ago. It was a while ago. So thank you, by the way. If that's you, I love you. I appreciate you, because I've really been marinating on that of I'm not going to give all of that power and ownership away of, yeah, it's easy. It's easy. It's not easy to say that people were mean to me. But how have I changed in terms of my internal self-talk and internal health and wellness and being a better person and trying to just better myself in general with the help of this medication? It truly is the golden ticket, but it's just a tool. It's a miracle drug, but also I have to do the work, right? Like eventually at some point it stops. My body is fighting against it at some point of where there's this push-pull, and we've talked about that in other videos, of where I'm like, it's not working. It's not that it's not working. It's that my body is fighting against the weight loss, and I've got to work smarter and harder in different capacities. And so that's one of the most profound things for me has been, how am I changing of people treating me differently, but how am I treating people differently? Mr. Freddy will always treat people differently. That's probably his nemesis. Every time I come to film, I'm not stopping filming this, because every time I try to film, that dog is out, and I film in the morning or in the evening or in the afternoon, and that dog is still out there. So I think that is his nemesis. He may bark. So gird your loins, friends. He may bark and hoot and holler here for a minute, and he apologizes. He's normally very... We're going to let him go. Okay. Number 7, mindset. So how do you change mindset? I've worked in therapy. I've been very open about that there is obviously a disordered relationship with food that has need to be healed. For me, there's deeper stuff with that. I'm not going to get onto that in this video, but for me, having additional therapy and listening to audios, I will link down below an audio for Audible with Amazon. I'm currently listening to Jim Rohn. Next in line is Atomic Habits. Next in line after that, who else? One of our viewers just told me one. I wrote it down. I'll put it in the description if I remember. I wrote it where I got my list. But Audible is amazing, and I have a discount link. It's like half off right now, so that may change. Prices are subject to change on Amazon. But that Audible, listening to that while I'm walking him, changing and reprogramming my brain differently. Making new neural pathways, making new brain. We have trees in our brains, and then making like the branches on those trees need to change. And they have quite a bit, but continuing to make those branches off on that has been so important with that daily maintenance of my spiritual condition, mental condition, emotional condition, physical condition. That's really, really important. Okay, next up is relationships. Number 8 of my daily life, of how Mounjaro has impacted my daily life, has been relationships have deepened. There was a block physically, and literally, like physically with that 79 pounds, and also consciously and subconsciously, I'm sure, subconsciously, over deep relationships with people. I do feel for people who are super important in my life that my relationships have gotten so much better. So much better. And I'm so grateful for that. So grateful for that. It makes me cry. So I'm going to keep going on this one, but just know the relationships have deepened. And the change in my job has also, I'm doing different things with my job. So I highly recommend you go to check down. We're going to wrap this up. We're going to go check out Join Fridays, my favorite telehealth company. They do prescribe, if you're eligible, for name brands and also compounds down in the description link below. Use my discount code with them. And if you've made it this far in the video, today's emoji, we do different emojis, is going to be a dog. It tells me that you've made it this far in the video. If you have, it helps to get me to know you better. But also I will pray over you, or if you don't believe in prayer, I will uplift you in positive thoughts. And make sure you click like, subscribe, and get my free Mounjaro weight loss success checklist down in the description. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings, because life is delicious. I'll see you soon, friends. Bye, guys.